Hi there, Ziga here from Mixanalog, and this is a short tutorial on how and what to do with a pair of Pultec program equalizers. There is a slight mystery surrounding the legendary Pultecs, especially about their frequency response curves and the interesting interactions between them. So before we start twisting the knobs, let's take a look at a couple of the frequency response plots, just to have a better idea about what's going on inside the beloved EQ. First, let's check what each boost and attenuate band is doing. Both low bands are of a first-order shelving type. This means the steepness of its transition knee derives from a 6 dB per octave low-pass filter, which is very gentle and does not cause a lot of phase shift. The corner frequency can be selected, but it is in practice just a little bit different for the boost and attenuate band, but more on that later. The high boost band is a bell filter, and is the most configurable with selectable center frequency and continuous variable width, or Q. And lastly, the high attenuate is, like the low bands, a gentle 6 dB per octave shelving filter with 3 selectable corner frequencies. Now back to the low bands and their weird behavior. It was most probably just a lucky accident in circuit design, and some eager knob twisting engineer found to actually sound useful. What later became known as the Pultec low end trick is a consequence of the fact that the low boost shelf starts at just a bit lower frequency than the low attenuate shelf. So when using both boost and cut filters at the same frequency, perfect filters would cancel out to produce a flat response, but those in the Pultecs don't. The shift in the corner frequency produces this curve that, in a way, redistributes the energy from the honky 100 to 200 Hz range to the lowest fundamental frequencies range. That's why the kick drum gets more weight, without sounding stumpy or gaining a lot of volume. Another example on where the Pultecs really shine, no pun intended, is on the high boost. No double filter trickery here, just simple beauty of a passive design. I usually start with very broad bandwidth and play around with the frequency selection to find the value that adds the right kind of air to the source and, in the case of vocals, doesn't exactly coincide with the S's of the particular singer. The boost you can apply with this box without sounding harsh is just ridiculous. Look at that, that's about 10 dB of boost at 12 kHz. I mean, come on. I rarely use the high attenuation filter, but in a case of a very harsh sounding source, I would probably couple a bit of a boost in the 10 to 16 kHz range and some slight attenuation at 20K. This is, again, in a way, redistributing the amount of energy contained in the sub-bands of the high-frequency spectrum, just like what happens in the low end when combining the two filters. Thinking about the redistribution of the energy in certain parts of spectrum is at least how I explain the Pultec wizardry to myself, but as with all things, you might paint yourself a completely different picture of what this box does for you. One last thing, this button here bypasses the passive filter network, so only the tube amplifier stage is left in the signal path. It's not a true bypass, but it still means a little bit less saturation from the magnetic inductor cores. So that's a very brief overview of the Pultec EQs. Try them out for yourself at mixanalog.com, where a pair of them is included in the Rec 1. Have a nice day, and thanks for watching.